Hey guys, we're back once again for another episode of Ask Mr. Regular.
This one's sponsored by Ham's Beer. Not sponsored, I just bought it. Because why? It's like $15 for a 30 rack.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my experience with Ham's is that you are sick for exactly 3 days afterwards. It's always exactly 3 days.
It is a really cheap beer. Really comes down to this stuff is cheaper than soda. I do like Trogs and Victory, but I got introduced to Ham's by Justin Kramer. The thing about Ham's is it's ridiculously drinkable.
Yeah.
And that it's a cheap beer that doesn't really taste like ass. So like you drink it and you say, oh, it has a very beer-like flavor.
Yeah, it's not like Natty Ice or, you know, that swill, piss water swill.
You gotta like, well, gotta get enough of this to get me through the evening. This is like a lawnmower beer. You can just easily throw this down. And I think it's, what is it, 4 or 5? Yeah. It's not like a 3-2 beer. It's, maybe it was just on the box where it said how much it is. Ham's. Nope. You guys can look it up.
Whatever it is, it's right on the line between too much and not enough.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
yeah. Anyway. I lived in a frat house and they had Ham's. I wasn't actually in the frat. I was in college. They just needed boarders, and the housing department at Penn State wasn't having anybody. And it was supposed to be a dry frat, but long story short, it was always either Ham's or Natty Ice or Natty Light. Mm-hmm. Just so we're back for another episode of Ask Mr. Regular. I'm the Roman, that's Mr. Regular, and let's get right into the questions. You can submit your questions by going to our subreddit, r/regular car reviews, and there should be a dedicated thread there for submissions for Ask Mr. Regular. And
doesn't do much.
Hopefully, we'll see your question there and answer it here. They can be directed to either of us. It doesn't really matter, but I might just call it like Ask RCR in the future or
Maybe
something.
if I open the curtains, it'll be brighter. Ask me a question, I'm gonna...
Oh, all right.
Since these microphones are wireless, I can just be over here.
Good times. From every car that you've ever reviewed, what surprised you the most? It can be a positive or a negative surprise.
I knew the neon SRT4 was going to be crap. I didn't think it was going to be that badly made. Gear shift coming off in my hand. Yeah.
And especially for a car that you loved and once had.
Well, I had the base model.
Yeah, the base model, completely different, but I mean, a nameplate that was, carries a lot of significance.
Significance and memory to me. Car that surprised me the most was and I knew it a little bit going into it was going to be wild, was Josh's LS DeLorean. That thing was balls stupid fast. I knew and on the same day, same shoot, I didn't know that a Knight Rider replica car was going to... I knew it was going to be bad to drive. I didn't think it was going to be like that.
It was almost impossible because when your dick is right here, and then you're trying to move the wheel, and God help you if you have an erection. Like, that thing is just... I mean, I love the aesthetic of it, the appearance. It was just such a really cool look. I wasn't familiar with the Knight Rider theme like that.
That's not the Knight Rider. People in the comments know why I'm singing that tune.
Oh.
Go on.
Oh, no. But yeah, it was just the kit was kind of... I don't know, maybe if in the actual car, the kit, all the technology isn't that,
yeah, it's all nothing.
Yeah, but, it was just kind of it was difficult to drive. What are your favorite video games?
My favorite video... Okay, now we get to put into categories. Favorite video game of all time, and I will only play this in the arcade, is Road Blasters. That is my favorite video game. Now we go into number 2.
Wait, Road Blast, is that kind of like an outrun with guns?
Yeah. Number 2, gosh, what's it gonna be? Now, a lot of these are powered by nostalgia. I mean, Road Blasters is powered by nostalgia because it's the Ocean City, New Jersey boardwalk when I remember playing it. Number 2, favorite video game. In second place, Star Tropics for the NES. That was my definite coming-of-age video game during the early 90s on NES. Number 3, Sega Genesis, Streets of Rage 2. One of the best controls in any side-scrolling beat-em-up. Number 4, for PC, Age of Empires 2, a time vampire. I remember I had the flu or something over one Christmas break, and all I wanted to do was to skip this day.
Yeah.
Well, get some ramen and some orange juice and ride out your sickness playing Age of Empires 2. A single game is at least 2 hours of that if you're going to go legit on those things. That's Age of Empires 2. Do we have a number 5? Now, you see, games I rank are games that I will play. If you put it in front of me right now, I'll play it and love it.
Yeah.
Number 5. I'm not going Half-Life. Very important, but I'm not going Half-Life. That's not in my top 5.
If you need time to think, I'll go off on mine. Because the thing is that being sort of obsessed with games for most of your life, you kind of have too many to name. It's kind of, if a movie guy was like, what's your favorite movie? Like, my favorite movie is Excalibur. Like, behold the sword of power, Excalibur, forged when the world was young, and bird and beast and flower were one with man, and death was but a dream. But yeah, and a long story short, it's
my favorite movie is Groundhog Day.
Nice. That's a great movie. But yeah, the favorite games, it mostly comes down to series. So Final Fantasy, of course, because I just adore Final Fantasy. And, well, I mean, Lightning Returns can suck a dick, but that game, I just couldn't do it. But there's Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. That shit just fucking... And I know it's a massive cliche because it's 7. It's the one you're supposed to like.
It's too popular to be good.
Yeah, you should... yeah, Final Fantasy VI is the real best one of all time. Or if you're really, like, up your own ass, it's Final Fantasy... Well, not if you're up your own ass. That's a wrong thing. Because there is a legitimate argument to be made that Final Fantasy IV is the best one. But... I'm just a 7 guy, and, you know, I hope I live long enough to see the remake, because Square announces games, like, 10 years in advance. I don't know that I could go down a list of, like, top 5 like we're doing now, but, you know, Metal Gear series, obsessed with it, Mass Effect, going old school, Comic Zone is one of my favorite games ever. I played it on Sega Channel all the time, played it to exhaustion.
Oh, you had Sega Channel.
Yeah. I was like the only kid I knew who had Sega Channel. And I'm talking like the only kid I knew for like 20 years after I had Sega Channel that ever had Sega Channel. But yeah, it was all about getting up really early on the first day of the month.
Number 5, PlayStation 1, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh god, that's so good.
So good I bought it a second time because I didn't know about the second castle.
I didn't know about the second castle until you did the video. Like, I beat the game, you know, because I had rented it, took it back. Never really looked up anything about it online in the subsequent years because, you know, that game came out in like 97. And so by the time the internet was around, it's not like I was looking up stuff about Castlevania.
Right.
Yeah, I just never knew about the Upside Down Castle. And so now it's kind of like wanting to go back and do it again just to find out, you know, what I'm missing. More old school stuff. Parappa the Rapper is a great game. You know, Kick Punch, it's all in the mind.
If you want to test me, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach you are sure to beat you. Nevertheless, you'll get a lesson from the teacher. Now kick.
Ooh, drop it. Damn. Bars.
Yeah.
All day. No,
I remember playing that game while I was getting my license. So that would have been 97?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the game was from 1997.
Because there's a thing of getting your license in there.
Yeah.
Because both that and Gran Turismo 1... Now, Gran Turismo 1 doesn't go in my top 5. It may be in my top 10, but I didn't have a wheel. So I'm doing that thing with racing games where in order to do a gradual turn, you have to go, you don't just hold left. You have to go left, 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 tap, 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 tap. That's how you make a gradual turn.
Yeah.
Just pressing the buttons a little bit. And once I got into the long races, like toward the end of the game, where this is a legitimate, like, 20-lap race of this racetrack, and all the cars are so evenly matched, and it takes like 2 laps to gain on a guy, I'll gain on the computer car. Nuts.
And just to close out mine, the stuff. Oh, love the Tales series, like Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Vesperia, that type of thing. But when I was a kid, I had got a lot of movie licensed games. So there was The Rocketeer for Super NES. There was Home Alone 2 for Super NES. And these were all games that I super loved and thought, like, why doesn't anyone else play these? You know, because everyone else was playing, well, I mean, I was playing the Mario games and, to exhaustion, but people were kind of getting into Earthworm Jim and Toe Jam and Earl, and I never really got that. Like, for me, I'm just, it is what it is. But, yeah. Those, just a lot of games, and again, like 1997, so many good games. I think that was when Tomb Raider 2 came out, and that was just fantastic. It had a very weird level skip feature where you had to do a bunch of like acrobatic moves to force you to, skip a level. But anyway, it's great stuff. Oh, the second part of the question: would you rather own a Plymouth Prowler or a Chevy SSR? I have no idea what prompted this. It was attached to the question in the same sentence. But
all right, both are dumb. The Plymouth. If I drive around in a Plymouth Prowler, no one's going to talk to me because they think I'm going to try to steer the conversation toward what's wrong with millennials these days. If I drive an HHR, some guy in Long's Park is going to tap on my window and ask if I'm going to suck his dick. That was multiple levels of that one.
Layers.
Wait, did I say HHR? It's an SSR.
Yeah.
Same. All right, I get it. The SSR is that weird performance truck thing. Gosh, which one do I want? The Prowler I could appreciate from a hipster ironic standpoint, and it was built to prove a point, versus the SSR is a more daily type of car. Like, are people giving me these cars, or if I'm buying them with my own money, I'm gonna buy a Prowler, and I'm just gonna put a cover over it because I know there is a cult following that car, and I could sell it and maybe even make a profit on it.
Yeah.
But if someone's gonna give me the car and I want something that I'm just gonna not care about and just drive around, then it's gonna be the SSR.
Cool. Will there ever be any more regular plane reviews?
Yes.
Do you...
Next question.
Oh, all right. Cool.
There will be. I don't know what, and I don't know where, because those take a lot of planning to do when it comes to aircraft. And you have to find an airport with an airport manager who's cool with us being there. There's a good amount of logistics and phone call and double checking and cover your ass questions and due diligence going on to film an aircraft. We did one. And we will do more. I get airsick in planes. We have a new camera that's going to be better. We testing out a Panasonic FZ300, and I think it's an FZ300. It's in my closet. Which interestingly, it does things very well that I didn't buy it for. I bought it to be mounted, to have a sort of all-in-one camera that could do a lot of the chase shots, and we found out even with stabilization turned off, we get a lot of jelliness to to the video shots, and that they go as the vibrations come through, which the Nikon doesn't do. The Nikon is hooked through a Series E lens from like the 70s, and that thing's tight as a drum with no stabilization on it. It's a fully manual lens, and for the most part, unless the fit's really bouncing around, it doesn't shake a lot. But when we go to the UK, we need to travel as light as we can, and the Nikon, I have 3 lenses for it, and I switch out between those 3 of them depending on what we're doing on the shoot. I need one camera that can do all of that. Now I knew there would be some problems, but I didn't think it would freak out that much with the vibrations coming through the car, through the glass, through the rubber mounts, the rubber vacuum cup mounts, and then up the little lattice work to hold that camera, that would be a problem. So the short-term version is Roman's just going to have to hold on to the camera to dampen it.
Which is fine, because when we're doing those follow shots where we're following the car, I'm just trying to make sure that, you know, it's adjusted, whether it's too overexposed or underexposed.
And the Lumix will take care of that. Whereas the Nikon won't. The Nikon with a manual lens, it has to be in manual mode to work, so you have to manually adjust ISO. But with the Lumix, it takes care of everything. So he'll have to hold it, and we'll have to find a solution to just take the dampening out of it, even if it's just your hands.
Yeah.
Now in the UK, hopefully maybe some people over there will donate like an SLR for us to use while we're over there, and that'll help out a little bit. Yeah. But one thing that the Panasonic does do really well is that its stabilization freaks out no matter what, even if it's off. Like maybe it just has to do with the way the CCD is. Freaks out with vibration, but for holding that camera, long shots, that stabilization is a lot better than what Nikon uses. Now granted, the Panasonic is a newer camera. One thing I could do with the Panasonic is, like we had a shoot recently where I forgot the Steadicam, the homemade $15 Steadicam. So I had to walk a little bit next to the car, and that came out kind of steady. And I'm thinking, I can kind of rollerblade. I should get a pair of rollerblades. Now everybody says skateboard. I can't skateboard. I tried it. It was never in my wheelhouse.
No, my idea was that you put the camera on the skateboard, pointing up, and you roll the skateboard past.
It's going to vibrate.
Yeah, it's going to vibrate too much. Yeah. It's not going to be a smooth
But if I'm holding it and if I'm on rollerblades, I mean, I can kind of rollerblade. But for just going at 5 miles an hour straight, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And just holding the camera sideways. We got far away from that question. What was it?
Oh, about the plane reviews. And the thing is that even when you're...
Yeah, the Nikon, or the Panasonic will do really well with long zoom. So I can be down on the ground filming up like this, and the stabilization will take care of stuff.
Which is your favorite strong bad email?
Sweet Cup and Cakes. Because it's about mini golf, and mini golf is a frickin' thing in Pennsylvania. Didn't know that that not many states make mini golf courses the way we do. Especially in Jersey. They're like, oh, putt-putt golf. No, our stuff's landscaped. We got fountains. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Of course, the Brothers Chaps are from Atlanta, so maybe they got good mini golf there. But
yeah, but no matter where you are in PA, you're never more than maybe 45 minutes from mini golf at most.
Yeah.
You can just go anywhere. You can't swing a dead cow without hitting a mini golf course, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Now I want to see. Now you're making me think of mini golf, and I want to play mini golf.
Who doesn't want to play mini golf? I know you were in radio back in college. Correct me if I'm wrong. What was your air personality, and how did it differ from Mr. Regular?
I learned my voice got deeper from doing radio, and my personality. I didn't have a name for myself. It was just my name.
Yeah, and you're wearing a KUR shirt now.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, And when I came
University.
in, you were listening to it. It was
I was listening to it. I was listening to
the
Kutztown
radio voice of Kutztown
University, KUR Kutztown, broadcasting at 88. You can hear us on campus at 88.3 FM and throughout town on 1670 AM and at select times on Cable Electric Service Channel 29.
Yeah.
Is it 29? I forget.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 29. Yeah.
For news, weather, and sports, and even before we can get it live on the air, log on to our Facebook stream and Twitter at... call signs and stuff. Yeah. Our call sign is KUR Kutztown. So.
Yeah. And when we did the show, I mean, he had a car show, and I would be on it frequently. And basically, it was us going through an auto trader and ripping on cars, and it was kind of like this proto RCR thing of just going through and, throwing it out there. And there was this... and also stories, because there was this one time where you're telling the story about this guy who asked you for gas. Like, he didn't ask you for money, he asked you for gas.
Yeah.
And that took up like a whole episode, but it was interesting to me because then we're sort of getting into, all right, well, what's the story? Like, why is he asking for gas and not... Because we're coming in at it from a standpoint of, this guy can't be being honest, right? Of just... And it's a guy who has a family in the car.
Family in the car came up to me in an empty parking lot on either the middle... No, it was on the weekend. At like a Borders that was barely... Is the Borders the one by the...
Yeah.
Yeah, the Borders. There was nobody in the Borders. I went in there to do something. I was riding at the time an 85... 82 to 81 or early 80s, excuse me, Honda GL 500 Silverwing, and which isn't an aspirational bike, but I came out and there's this car parked across lanes, like by my motorcycle, like, excuse me, can I ask you a question, or can I have a, it may have been one of those, can I have a moment of your time? Oh, shit. Like, our family's in the Reading Hospital, and we don't have enough gas to get there. We only have something. And I know Reading enough that, wait, if I'm in Why I'm Missing, to get to the Reading Hospital, it's and
Yeah.
The Reading Hospital network. It's actually by Berks Catholic and the library?
The museum.
The museum.
Yeah. The Reading Museum. And so... Okay, it's going to be a bit of a hike, but you can walk there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not... it would take me about 20-25 minutes to walk.
That's it, to walk there?
Yeah, pretty much.
From the Berkshire Mall?
Yeah, because I used to live down around in that
you're going to go down? You're going to go Penn Avenue?
Yeah. No, because you cut across Penn Avenue and go past... Oh, God, what's the name?
Oh, you're going up?
You're going up and then down and across. And... well, I mean, I guess it depends on what part of the hospital you're trying to get into, because there's a million different entrances. But the whole idea being that...
You can get there on fumes. It's not even going to be 1 gallon of gas to get there.
Yeah.
If your thing's on E, you got a gallon there. You can... The thing is, we went to the friggin' Wawa by Smoky Bones.
Oh, yeah, in the Broadcasting Square.
Yeah. Which was equidistant, but in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
to get there.
Why... And the only thing that I can imagine is that these were out-of-towners who'd never been there before and didn't know how much farther they had to go.
Yeah, I know. They had Pennsylvania plates. Like, maybe,
but...
They had these 2 little kids in the back seat. One of them stared cross-eyed at me the whole time. And I had this idea in my head, like, okay, maybe she legitimately had an eye condition, or maybe she came up to that age where you figure out you can cross your eyes and is just doing it all the time. Or maybe on the weekend, see, this is the cynic in me, thinking Dad has this scam running. That's how he fills his tank. He hangs around shopping centers and has this sob story waiting for people.
Yeah.
But if that's the true, why isn't he asking for money? But maybe he found out that money didn't work that well, and if he legitimately asks for gas, he's going to get a full tank in his whatever that car was. I forget. Yeah. It's a Craigslist, $3,000 Craigslist special is what he was driving. 4-door family car, probably a Taurus. And I filled my tank, and this is when I had no money. I'm in college. I filled my tank, and I was like, look, I can give you $10 worth. And he's like, that'll be good, thank you. But we're both standing there. Dad's wearing a shirt. He's wearing a T-shirt with some swear word on it, or or I'm just a fucking ball of sunshine, or he's definitely wearing an in-your-face shirt that he bought at a dirt mall. The wife is a gigantic beanbag woman sitting splayed out over the passenger seat, doesn't talk the whole time, just sits there with her face moving further inward into her gigantic cheeks.
Bitter beer face.
Like that.
Yeah. And I think the guy was wearing a Jeff Dunham shirt, I Kill You, like Silence. The Ahmed, the undead terrorist or whatever it is. Like the guy with the puppets.
Huh.
I don't know. I just remember that because I still have the audio file on my computer.
Oh.
And, yeah.
And maybe you knew what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've heard that before. I don't even remember how I have that audio file. But, yeah.
Maybe it's one of the few ones that existed on SoundCloud.
Maybe. Yeah. It
went away. That was a long question.
Yeah.
I think we've answered 3 of them so far.
Well, no, more. It's like, well, I mean, I normally get around 6 questions, and so I had to just go in there and pick out another one because I realized that I accidentally put one of the same questions from last week in there again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but okay, next question.
Next question.
This one is, which dog is best dog?
Samoyed. Next question.
No, that was the last question.
Okay.
Well, why is the Samoyed the best dog?
The Samoyed is the Samoyed is the used Porsche that's going to require a lot of work. A Samoyed is a MGB with problems. A Samoyed is a Lotus, or a Samoyed is that delightful Volkswagen Carmen Ghia that all the girls go aww over, and is a pain in the ass to take care of and is going to ruin your living room. A Samoyed is it's one of those husky-like dogs, and most of them are white. There's some brown ones and some tan ones. They're the dog that has like a double outer coat that's really, really fluffy.
Yeah.
If I show you a picture, you'd know exactly what it is. You would, because my band director had one. Mr. Botts had a husky and he had a Samoyed, and I had to go cut. Well, we all took turns when he was selling his house after senior year, going over to his house, cutting his lawn while he was away. He was moving to all places, Austin, Texas. And with those dogs, right? Like cold weather dogs, and he's moving to frickin' Austin. And so I would go over and they would freak out because he would be away, and the dogs we'd have to go over there and walk the dogs. It was myself, Shannon Stone Cipher, Tom Mansell, and Barrett Remington, and a bunch of other people in the band who'd take turns taking care of Mr. Botts' house. And you'd come to the door, and the dogs would be going ballistic because there's people there, and both of them were real friendly dogs. So they would run and jump, and the Samoyed was this... I'm going for the word insufferably friendly, but you can't stay mad at it.
Yeah.
All it wants to do is play and give you attention and get its hair on everything and everyone and everywhere.
Yeah.
It's one of those super shedder dogs.
Oh.
So if you're allergic to any kind of dander, if you're allergic to cats, odds are you'd be allergic to a Samoyed.
Yeah.
I'd never own one. I think they're amazing. In the same way I think a Carmen Ghia is amazing. Awesome. Do I want to own it? No.
I do have a last question, but it's a 3-parter, Dean.
All right.
All right. Go. What is the fastest... Oh, wait. Yeah, what is the fastest that you have driven on public roads, and what were the circumstances?
Why on earth would I answer that question?
It's a good question. All right, good.
Part 2.
What cars are conspicuously popular where you live? Is there an official car of PA?
Well, now we're getting real specific to our part of PA. There's always the PA dubbers, which is the Volkswagen scene is very deep here. Very conspicuously, I'm talking about like a 98 Jetta with a pipe on the back of it, cut my life in 2 pieces. This is my last resort. That.
Yeah.
It's got the soot coming up the back bumper because he put bigger injectors in. That's Pennsylvania.
And lastly, when you were a child, did you have any misconceptions about cars or how they worked?
I thought you could... Well, I thought squealing tires meant you were going fast until I got my Toyota Echo. Well, yeah, when I had my Dodge Neon, you know, I'm 19. The frick do I know about driving? Yeah. And I thought, oh, I took that turn really fast. My tires were squealing. Yeah, you're driving a front-engine economy car. No crap, it's squealing as it goes around this corner. You know, understeering as it goes around the corner. Yeah, I'm a good driver. Yeah. I took that turn. I took that off-ramp so fast the tires squealed. Yeah, they did, but you didn't. You're not. And then I got my Echo, and that taught me to be a little better driver, although I crashed that car twice. But that thing was a trooper.
Yeah.
If I'm at the point where I can just throw money at stuff, that wouldn't be a bad Lemons car. Oh boy! See, I want to do a Lemons rally.
But don't you automatically, they take off 200
points if you show up in a Japanese car, yeah. Because you're not going to break if I just show up in a Toyota Echo. Oh, but it would be a drive down memory lane if I had an Echo. But I have a thing saved on my phone. Oh, it feels good to rub my eyes. I don't know why. I have a search saved on my phone for cheap cars on Craigslist from 1979 until 1950 or something like that. Now, I wouldn't really take something from the 50s or 60s, really actually, I think I had it from 89, because there's some cool junky GM stuff from the 80s too.
Yeah.
That I talked it over with my accountant. RCR will do a Lemons rally at some point. We will have Team Regular or Team YouTube money or something like that.
Yeah. Team Brown.
Yeah.
The Brown Society.
I want to have Fiber One sponsor us.
Yeah.
Just to have a sponsor. How can we get Fiber One to just throw in some money for a beater car?
Yeah.
And in exchange, we'll have Fiber One livery on the side. Just say, like, Fiber One. Just say that. If there's somebody who could get in touch with somebody in the market, like...
Yeah, like, how do we even get on their radar?
Right. Get on Fiber One radar. Like, my pitch to Fiber One is like, okay, well, first of all, we have a YouTube channel, this many subscribers, this is our retention rate. And these are sponsors that have worked with us before. We want X amount of, actually, you don't even talk about money. Yeah. Would you sponsor a rally car? We'll talk about Fiber One. Because I already buy the stuff. I like Fiber One. And I think it's important for young people to be concerned with bowel health.
It's true. Yes.
See, I'm not laughing because it is true.
It is true,
I mean,
no.
As you get out of adolescence, yeah, great. You can spend your all day eating string cheese and Parmesan cheese straight out of the can, and you could push as hard as you want and shove that brick out. But when you get into your 20s, you know, there's some people who honestly get hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to, you know, shove out buckshot. No, not even buckshot. You're trying to decorative stones out of a house and like an apartment complex and why I'm missing. No, condo complex.
And it's just very much a thing that you don't want to be spending 2 hours on the toilet.
Right.
At night.
Yeah, right. And if you're going to eat a candy bar, you might as well eat something that's going to do something good for you. Yeah. Right? I mean, just Fiber One, especially the brownies, are delicious.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, and there's a whole market out there that you market the Fiber One bars to the people who belong, like middle-aged and senior citizens. Rightfully so, it's important. But why not everybody?
Yeah, get on the regular.
And we can be those people.
Get on the
with
horse
a race car.
Yeah.
And an entire pallet full of Fiber One bars that we hand out to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine. Yeah, and that's well. I mean, as long as we don't eat them on the way there. But
Well, that's a challenge.
yeah, that is a challenge.
Eat 2 Fiber One bars. How long can you go?
Yeah. The world war brown. But I mean, it's. I mean, I guess tweet this video to them. Maybe I don't know. Because I can only imagine some kind of social media campaign or bombardment
to get Fiber One to sponsor a rally car, because they have a great product and they have a wonderful opening to have a sense of humor that it makes you poop a lot.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's fun and it's funny. Run with that, man.
Yeah.
We all, in like another podcast, they joke about 1 Fiber One bar gets you rocking and you're off to the races.
Yeah. And
off to the race. we just have a car that just says Fiber One, off to the races, and in the back we can get one of those bumper dumpers. You know, they had it in Top Gear for the Arctic special. It's just the toilet that sits on a trailer hitch in the back, and we can just like pop rivet a little bathroom holder for some toilet paper and just be going down the highway like that. I mean, see, would they want to be involved with that kind of gross humor?
I mean, we have nothing but great things to say about their product.
Right.
So we would not be disparaging their product at all. It's just a matter of, do you want to be associated with
us?
Gross out humor? I mean, to be fair, half of the things that we talk about are the bodily functions that their product catalyzes. So please, it's just let us help each other, Fiber One. Please come to us, and we will welcome you with open arms, as we would hope that you would welcome us.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah, that is a great way. All right. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us this week. I'm the Roman, and that's Mr. Regular. Again, to submit questions for this, head over to our subreddit, r/regular car reviews. I mean, I do that instead of email because it keeps everything nice and organized in a singular subreddit, because we don't want to mix submissions for this with submissions for the actual show. So just more streamlined. But yeah, send in your questions, and be happy to answer them. And until next week, thanks for watching.